remarks.
Thanks, Dustin, and thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Obviously, our team is disappointed with yesterday's news, and while we're looking forward to this Saturday's game, as we've said from the start, every decision we make as a athletics department and as a football program will always be made with the health, safety, and welfare of our players and staff at the forefront of every decision. And to be quite honest, not just them, but as well as our opponents. We knew heading into this adjusted season that there could be hiccups along the way. Much how we've addressed and managed working through these things during the 2020 season. We wake up and we deal with the rules that we're given for that day. And yesterday afternoon, we found out that we wouldn't be playing this weekend, and we immediately went to finding solutions to the issue. And so, right now our job is to stay active, to keep our team focused, to get ready for whenever it's deemed safe to play. Our medical people, Dr. Rooks and David Klosner, and all the people involved, Brian Simmerville, have led the charge with putting us in the best possible position to minimize this pause, and we're going to continue to lean on them with every decision we make as far as football. As we all know, the cases are going up across the country, and so our football program is a microcosm of just that. Every week as we prepare, and I've said this to you guys, we prepare for two opponents, our football opponent and COVID. And this week we've got to continue to follow the lead of our medical people to kind of mitigate and minimize the spread as we move forward. And, again, our medical people here on campus and in our local communities have been out front and have really led the charge to get us in a situation that we can minimize it. So, the coaches and staff will be out of Gossett Team House starting tomorrow. A deep cleaning up there. We're here as a team, kind of quarantined and isolated again in an effort to try to, again, like I said, mitigate the spread within our team. We'll continue to provide updates when they're available, but for now, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
We'll start with Andy Costa from the Washington Times.
Hey, Mike. What is the extent of players impacted through the contact tracing? I know there's 8 positive cases, but how many players are kind of caught in that web of contact tracing, if you have that answer?
Yeah, one of the unique things, because of the Big Ten protocol of our daily antigen testing, a lot of the contact tracing is taken out of the mix. And, that would be more of a question that Dr. Rooks and our medical people would probably answer. But I can tell you, because of the type of protocol we have with the daily antigen testing, which we've continued to do and even now have ramped up as we isolate ourselves, our PCR testing for the next few days, just to ensure that our pseudo bubble that we've tried to create to make sure that we can figure out if there is a spread and where we are. A lot of this stuff was done in an effort to get out in front of it. And again, our medical professionals here, Dr. Rooks and Brian Simmerville, David Klosner, and all those people have really led the charge and have done a wonderful job of being out in front of this thing. So because of the protocols, we've been able to minimize the contact tracing piece that goes along typically with this, with a positive test.
And just to follow up really quickly, have coaches or staff members been involved in this? Have they been impacted at all, or is it purely players at this point?
So we all test. We have an active number of what we call tier 1 people that test on a daily basis. And, our cases are put on our dashboard here at the university. Obviously, I can't get into differentiating between players, coaches, and staff, but I can tell you that everyone that's involved in the day-to-day operations with our football program follow the tier 1 protocol with the daily antigen testing. And if there are positive tests, the PCR test follows to confirm it. And then isolation takes place right there, and we get right into our return to play protocol. So everyone involved with the team, I think it's 170 of us in our tier 1 are on daily testing protocols.
Emily from Washington Post.
Hi, Mike. I know it's probably changing every day. Is the number still 8 as of now, or have there been more added to that today?
Again, with as far as I know, we're at the number that was reported by our administration and our medical people. I haven't been privy to any additional numbers or findings. Obviously, we've done PCRs with everybody involved in our program today as part of our effort to mitigate it and ensure that we've created and know if there is a spread. And that information is relayed as soon as we know. So as of right now, whatever number has been reported is the number that I've operated off of, and haven't found any new information in regards to additional.
And in terms of a timeline, as of now, what's the earliest possible day you'd be able to get back to practice that you know of? And I mean, looking further ahead, I know this is hard to answer, but like, what would you need to be able to play the next Michigan State game? When would you need to be able to go back to practice for that?
Yeah, those questions are out of my pay grade there, Emily. The medical people are leading the charge with this here, the county officials here in Prince George's County, as well as state, working with our medical people here on campus, Dr. Rooks and David Closen and Brian Somerville. They'll lead the charge on telling us when. So right now, as I told you, and as I've always said, we're day to day. And when I wake up tomorrow, I'll get whatever information is provided to me by the medical people in regards to where we are for that day. And then I'll make decisions for the football program that relate based off of what I'm told we're able to do. So I'm on a need-to-know basis with it, and on a daily, I get updated information, and we'll operate with that information as it comes to us daily. But those things are out of my control, out of our team control, and so we'll figure it out based off of what the medical professionals tell us, and typically that's after we continue to do the daily antigen testing as well as the PCR testing here the next few days while we're in isolation.
Alex Flum, WDMV.
Hey, Coach Locksley. First off, hope everybody's safe, healthy, doing okay, considering what's going on. My question is, I know you said you want to get out ahead of this. And was this decision to cancel this weekend's game, was that made as a precaution, or did you guys pass a certain threshold in the Big Ten?
Yeah, and again, I don't want to, punt this off to our medical people. But when it comes to the medical piece of our program, based off of how it's set up and run, these questions would be answered by, Dr. Rooks and her staff. And, obviously I'm the football coach, and when it comes to medical decisions, they inform me what we're able to do and not do. And the decision made was obviously made, like I've said in my statement, to ensure the safety, health, and welfare of our team, our staff, but also of our opponent, Ohio State, who we are scheduled to play. So, again, those questions I would refer to our medical people when the opportunity presents itself.
And to follow up real quick, I know you and Damon Evans both in the press release stressed the importance of player safety and things like this. And throughout the whole country, everyone is dealing with this right now. Just to, reiterate and ask you again, how important do you think it is, to not only protect everyone here, but to set an example, for the rest of the schools in the country dealing with this right now, to prioritize safety over playing the game?
Yeah, Maryland, from a medical standpoint, will always lead and be at the forefront of it. Every decision that we make, and obviously there have been some changes in the protocol for medical decisions here, which have been taken obviously out of the football coach's hands, as I believe they should be. And our medical people, led by Dr. Rooks and the university system here on campus, will always lead the charge when it comes to making the right decision to ensure the safety, health, and welfare of our team, our staff, and our community. So, we are just a microcosm of making the right kind of choices and having the right kind of behaviors to help mitigate especially with this uptick that our local state has been affected by, but as well throughout the country. When you look across the country and see the number of games that have been canceled here in the last week based off of the uptick of COVID, I think it's appropriate, and I have the utmost faith in our medical people that they'll continue to lead the charge the right way to ensure the three things we talk about: the health, safety, and welfare of our team, our staff, and our community.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Alexander Dacey from the Diamondback.
Hey, Coach, two parts to this question. First, could you just give sort of a timeline of how long you guys might be at the hotel for?
Yeah, right now our goal was we moved in last night. I think we're scheduled to be here through Sunday morning in an effort to isolate ourselves, which is I'm coming to you live from the hotel here, in an effort to isolate but also contain our team and create this bubble. We'll do the daily antigen testing as we did today, as well as a PCR test for the next few days, again, to ensure that, guys that are affected by it, we know who they are. We're able to get them isolated and get them into the appropriate places to start their healing and get those guys safe and healthy, as well as figure out, as a whole, as a football community, to ensure that, our team, we know who the guys are that are deemed clean and who the guys are that have been affected by COVID, and get those guys healthy and in the right places as soon as possible. So our goal right now was to be here from last night until Sunday afternoon, midday. And by that, we'd have 3 straight days of antigen and PCR testing to have a better feel for where we are as a team in terms of positive results.
And while you're in the hotel, are you still meeting with the team daily, virtually over Zoom? How are you checking in with the guys?
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, because of the daily antigen testing in the morning, we're able to find out pretty quickly if there's anyone that has a positive, then they're removed out of the sample size or sample group. Most of our meetings have been done, some virtual, but we have had some face-to-face where, with social distancing and masks, which are based on the Prince George's County's rules for COVID, and based on being in the hotel, the spacing required. And so we've had a little bit of both, whether they've been virtual meetings, but some face-to-face. And a lot of it's because of the protocols we have in place with the daily antigen as well as the PCR test, where we know kind of quickly if there's been anyone that is affected by COVID.
Charlotte McBride, WUSA 9.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Charlotte, what's up?
Nothing. Coach, you guys have been playing great football. You won 2 big games. You got the momentum. You got the rhythm. You guys have been finally coming together as a team, and now everything stops. How does that affect you, the way you're coaching, and these players right now that you guys can't be doing and preparing for what would have been the biggest game yet this season?
Yeah, I think right now, because of where we are, I'm less worried about the momentum we had on the field than I am doing what's right off the field. I think when I started, we had our first press conference when we started the ramp up for the season. I told everyone that, our discipline both on and off the field will be the catalyst to what type of success we have as a team. Obviously, our team has done some pretty good things the last 2 weeks. As I've said, I'm very guarded against that we've arrived as a team. I do think that we're forming habits which are starting to now become a part of our DNA as a team. And, we're going to continue to do the things we can do based off the rules we have in place today to continue to prepare our team. I know today we started on Michigan State from a game planning and self-scout. We've done a lot of self-scout stuff to see, kind of use this as a mini bye week to look at what we've done the first half. Because if you look at our season in totality, the Michigan State game becomes the second half of our 8-game season. And so we took a deep dive into what we're doing, offense, defense, special teams here today as a staff. We started on the installation as well as the preparation for the Michigan State game, because until we hear it's off, we've got to prepare as if it's the next game on our schedule. And our coaching staff has done a great job of being, staying out in front and again, giving our guys a chance mentally to start and stay hopefully in the frame of mind we need to keep the momentum that we've created as a program.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Ed Lee from the Baltimore Sun.
Mike, of the players who tested positive, how many of them are showing symptoms, and what symptoms have they shown?
Hey, Ed, you got to talk up. I can barely hear you for some reason.
Oh, sorry. Of the 8 players who tested positive, are any of them showing symptoms, and if so, what symptoms are they exhibiting?
Yeah, again, with the medical piece of it, I know this. We, based off of what was reported, we have 8 that have tested positive. As far as getting into the medical piece of whether or not they are asymptomatic or symptomatic, I'm probably not the guy you want to ask because, to be quite honest, I go off of what they tell me what we can do and can't do. I haven't had a chance to necessarily know the history of guys, whether they've been symptomatic or asymptomatic as of right now. So I probably am not versed or well versed enough to answer that question based on not having the information per se.
How concerned are you that these players may have contracted it from the Penn State game or may have played with it at the Penn State game?
Well, again, based on our protocols, when we took the field, based off the antigen testing that we did the morning of the game, we're of the mindset that we played a clean game. And the testing obviously took place on Monday because Sunday is a day off for our players. And so I can't and couldn't begin to tell you whether or not we played a clean field, whether it was contracted during the game, before the game, based off the medical information that we're privy to with how our protocol is set up. I feel confident that we played a clean game. And then based on the testing results on Monday and last week, we obviously had guys that contracted COVID. And I can't begin to speculate where or when and how it was contracted. I'll leave that to the medical people.
Thank you.
Yep.
We have time for just a couple more, so if you can guys keep them just to one question with no follow-up so we can try to get to everybody. We'll go to Jacob Steinberg next.
Coach, you talked about how you obviously don't know when the team is going to be able to return exactly to the practice field yet. So just how challenging is it for you and your staff and the players to prepare for an opponent, not necessarily knowing when you're going to be able to get back on the practice field and actually get in pads once again?
Yeah, again, because of the mindset and how we've approached this thing, Jacob, from the start, we come up every day. And as I said, I know it sounds like just coach speak, but every day we're told what we can and can't do. And tomorrow I'll wake up and based off of, testing and where we are medically, they'll inform me where we are for that day. And what I've done and will continue to do is put a schedule together for us to always talk about moving us forward. There's nothing we can do about what's happened or where we are as a program. And my goal is to be solution-based. And so we're preparing as if Michigan State, our next opponent, is a game that we're preparing to play. And until they tell me any differently, that's been the mindset. And, to try to speculate or forecast whether or not we will or won't is really not something I would concern myself with because I'm basing it off of where I am today. And so if tomorrow they were to wake up, if I wake up and they tell me that the Michigan State game is off, then I'm going to start preparing for the next opponent after that. And that's just how I've tried to operate. It's the only way to stay solution-based and move the program forward based on what the cards we've been dealt on a daily basis. So that's just been the approach I've taken.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
We'll take 2 more. Darren Haynes, USA 9.
Hey, Coach Locksley. Kind of wonder if you can put the human side on football and also just home. How concerned are you that this could get worse knowing the way the trend is moving in college football?
Darren, I just heard, you kind of faded out at the end. You said, how concerned am I that?
Yeah, how concerned are you that things could get worse knowing the way things are trending right now in college football?
Yeah, again, the forecasting piece is what I try to stay away from, Darren. I know it sucks that I keep saying it, but I got to operate, because for me to keep looking down the road and saying that whether it's getting worse or better, I just have to operate for my own sanity, man. When you're trying to organize and create a program for 110 players, 35 plus staff members, moving it forward, as much as you like to forecast and prepare and put together scheduling and things that help you take care of down the road, I'm staying pretty neutral and remaining in the moment, that here's what I can do and I can't do, and operate from that landscape. I mean, 2020 has just showed me you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And so to try to forecast or predict what tomorrow will be, I just think it's not good business for me from a mental standpoint, as well as, as how I want to approach our team. I mean, we play every single play as an individual play. And then we got to go neutral. Well, I've got to do the same thing with our team on a daily basis. Every day is its own day. And when you try to start stringing the days along and using them in correlation to what's happened today for tomorrow, you just can't do it. And so I've stayed away from it. We'll wake up and figure out tomorrow, based off the testing results we have, where we are as a team, what we can do as a team. Until I hear anything different, the mentality is we're preparing for Michigan State here at the Shell next Saturday. We're looking at this pause in our program as a kind of a bye week where we really do some self-inspection, a 360 or quality control, what we've done in the first half of the season, and then try to make the necessary adjustments with our team individually to continue to improve it, because we're in the growth phase of our program. And I've got to use every day to continue to build the foundation that we're going to need to have success now as well as in our future.
Thanks, Coach.
Go ahead, Emily.
Just two quick pieces. Are the players who have sorry, we're not allowed to ask follow-up, so I figured just to do it once. The players who have the virus, they're also quarantining at the hotel, is my understanding. And then the second piece is, we've seen some teams where it's concentrated in a specific position. Was that the type case on your team, or was it more just spread out across the board?
Yeah, I don't know where you heard that they were quarantining here at the hotel. I mean, if that was what you were told by our medical people, then I guess that's the case. But we have a process in place for guys that do test positive, and I don't think many of them or any of them are here at the hotel. You may know more than I do, because I hadn't heard that. We're all individually in our own rooms. Everyone has an individual room in an effort to, again, like I said, mitigate it. The second part of your question was what again? Was it
a certain position group or just all over?
No, it's been pretty random. It's not necessarily, as far as I know, the individuals that have contracted COVID aren't necessarily one position group. It's been pretty all over the place with it in terms of how it's presented itself on our team. So I can tell you that it's not been position group based as of yet, but we're in day one of what I would call a cleansing of our program, because we're doing the antigen as well as the confirmatory PCR, which we did our first round today. Haven't heard or gotten any information back on any positives of that just yet. We'll do the same thing again tomorrow as well as on Saturday. And then, we check out here Sunday. So that'll give us 3 days. And, as the information is provided, then we'll act accordingly.